It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Hello and welcome to another week on the Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke is keeping us on the air from behind the glass, just like he does 5 days a week live on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Today, we're talking a lot of Patriots. How about 3 wins in a row for the first time in 3 years? How about a quarterback who was a legitimate MVP candidate a third of the way through the season? We're going to talk with Mike DeBate of Sports Illustrated about what is going right for this team and why the NFL should be afraid of this team. Because you look back at a couple of weeks and the rest of the league is going to be talking about him if they're not already. This kid is for real at quarterback. This defense, most of the time, is pretty good, and their head coach has actually got a good head on his shoulders, unlike last year. This team is legit in a wide-open AFC. It's the first time we've been able to say that in years for the Patriots. Really only the second time since Tom Brady left the team that we've been able to say this team is legit in the AFC. Are they Buffalo or Kansas City? Not quite. I'm not going to say that. But this team is for real. They're much better than the one that won 8 games in the last 2 years. All that and more is coming up on this episode of The Cam Show, starting with the win over New Orleans yesterday. The Patriots are doing this thing, man. It feels weird and out of place, but boy, does it get me happy. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm thinking it's something like...
That's called a winning streak. It has happened before.
That's it. That's it, Lou. A winning streak. Your first 3-game winning streak in 3 years. Coming off one of the most frustrating games I've ever seen as a Patriots fan, that lost to Pittsburgh, because you knew something was coming. And I came on this show and said, it's coming. The reason why that game was so frustrating was because they're better than that. And it's going to come in, it's going to be in blowout fashion, and then they're going to get hot. And that's exactly what happened. They blew out Carolina, the thrilling win against Buffalo, classic trap game against New Orleans, and they go and they get it done in what was one of the most in control 6-point victories I think I've ever seen against a fairly bad football team. And when we look at this as a whole, this 3-game winning streak, to put them at 4-2, I have 3 major takeaways from this. First, this team's legit. Again, not Super Bowl legit, but something far, far better than what we've seen the last 2 seasons. Last year, it took them 17 games to win 4. This year, it's taken them 6. And they're just getting started. Second point is this. Drake Maye has not only arrived, but he is a legitimate MVP candidate in the NFL a third of the way through the season. Take that however you want to, okay? It's only a third of the way through the season. We're only 6 games in, but he is right there with the best of the best. And not for nothing, but he's already outdueled and beaten last year's MVP, for whatever that's worth to you. Third thing is this. Mike Vrabel has all the things you want, all the things that you liked from Bill Belichick without the baggage. Like you might not like the fact that he's not benching Ramondre Stevenson because he fumbles so much. That's something Belichick would do. Get it. I totally get that. But the attention to detail, the margins, the situational football, and the players not hating him, he's got it all. The most confident I've been about this team is what I saw in the final 2.5 minutes of the game. When they were up 6, they kind of went balls out and threw a pass to Kayshon Boutte to get a big first down to keep the clock rolling. And then what Mike Vrabel did was an absolute masterclass. Boutte makes a great catch. He's inbounds. But this completely incompetent NFL officiating crew, which I'll talk about in a second, say he's out of bounds. Clock stops, 2:33 to go. And then suddenly, there's a challenge flag out. The hell's Mike Vrabel challenging? It was a completed pass. What he's challenging is the fact that Kayshon Boutte was in bounds and that the clock should be running. And then the call gets overturned. The clock should be running. And then Mike Vrabel argues for another minute with the officials afterwards because they have the play clock at 25 seconds when it should be at 40 seconds. Because Mike Vrabel is such a good situational football coach, he's already got the math done in his head. If it's a 40-second play clock, I don't have to run a play. I get down to the 2-minute warning. New Orleans doesn't have any timeouts. I can just take knees and run out the clock. Like, I was so fired up to see that yesterday. Gerard Mayo is not doing that. In fact, there might be 2 handfuls of coaches around the NFL that aren't doing that. Clearly, from what we've seen at North Carolina and the circus that goes on there, we don't need another Bill Belichick necessarily. Still the greatest coach of all time, but we don't need that right now. What we need, though, is an adult in the room, which Mike Vrabel is, a guy that people want to play for, who Mike Vrabel is, and a guy who knows the rules better than the officials do. And Mike Vrabel's all of that, which all comes to my biggest gripe of the game. Not just that Spencer Rattler kind of carved the Patriots up for a while, the fact that the Patriots only won by 6. My biggest gripe of the game was that might have been the worst officiating I've seen in an NFL game in at least a decade, maybe ever. Like, it was so horrible. And the Saints didn't get hosed on any calls. I'll tell you that much. They didn't. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments section if you saw that atrocity yesterday of that NFL officiating crew. I mean, I don't know if they have something against Vrabel or Kraft or whomever, but they showed the Patriots a nice night out the night before, got dressed up real nice, and just screwed them all day long, nonstop screwed them. Pop Douglas, second touchdown, that PI call on Diggs, like there's just nothing there. Nothing happens. They just took a touchdown off the board for the Patriots because they wanted to, because of vibes. There was no penalty on the play whatsoever. Diggs is running about 10 yards downfield. They both have a hand on each other. There's no pushing. There's no extension. There's no holding. On the other side of the field, and they throw a flag because Drake Maye embarrassed the Saints on basically the same play 2 drives in a row. So you take that off the board. Oh, and then Stephon Diggs isn't done. In a crucial 3rd down in the 3rd quarter, he gets about a 40-yard completion. Nope. Another PI on Diggs. Again, nothing there. Mike Vrabel just sitting there like all of us, like, mouth open, like, what are we doing here? This can't be real life. That's 100 yards taken away from the Patriots right there. Like, for nothing, man. There was illegal shifts when no one was moving. There was no defensive PI calls on that Mac Hollins third down play, which actually came right after the Diggs one. Like, if the Patriots lost this game, God forbid, if the Patriots lost this game, we'd have had a real mess on our hands, a legit mess. Like, that's how bad this was, okay? But again, I'm going to look at it as a positive. Mike Vrabel knows the rules better than the rule enforcers do, which is one of the best, if not the best trait that Bill Belichick ever had. The other great trait that Belichick had was seeing the talent and drafting Tom Brady. Mike Vrabel didn't draft Drake Maye, but boy, is he overseeing a second-year jump. Credit to him. Credit to Josh McDaniels. Because Drake Maye is a legitimate MVP candidate right now. That's not hyperbole. That's not me drinking New England Patriots Kool-Aid. That's saying a third of the way through the season, Drake Maye is a top 5 quarterback in this league. And you saw it again on Sunday. Is he going to be a top 5 the whole season? I don't know. But right now, he is. Right now. 18 to 26 for 263 touchdowns, no picks. Hasn't turned the ball over in 3 weeks. Coincided with 3 straight Patriots wins. After a 5 turnover performance was their last loss, and they lost by 7. He's top 5 in the league in yards per attempt. Passing yards would be top 5 if you include both his total touchdowns, rushing and passing. Top 5 in passer rating, second in the league in completion percentage. He's right there, man. And he's elevating a team that is still working out some kinks. This team still can't really run the ball, okay? Their defense is week to week at this point. They've gotten carved up by Tua. They've gotten carved up by Spencer Rattler, but they won both those games because Drake Maye is that good. I was trying to be wary of it in the offseason, that it was going to take a big jump from Drake Maye in order for this team to be a 9 or 10 win team. And, you know, maybe this was me having the PTSD from Mac Jones and that awful situation he was put in. But I'm like, you can't just expect him to come in and be a top 10 quarterback. Just make the leap like it's nothing, because it is a big deal. There's a reason why a lot of quarterbacks can't do it. Drake Maye's making that leap. Like, the hype around him is real. It's playing out in front of our eyes. This might have been his best game. We've said that 3 weeks in a row. This might have been his best game of his career. We've said it 4 times this year already. He's getting better by the week. He's protecting the ball. He's not getting sacked. He's extending plays the right way. He's making Mahomes-esque plays. He's also making Mahomes-esque plays to get out of danger. You know, we saw one yesterday where he goes to the left hand just to throw it out of bounds so he doesn't lose a couple yards. Those are the kind of plays we talk about and say, that's your quarterback. That's your franchise guy. Not even the ones where he's extending the play and he's throwing a 60-yard touchdown, but also the ones where he's getting out of danger because he still doesn't have an elite offensive line. He does not have an elite run game. He's got an okay group of receivers. And yet, he's top 5 in every major category when it comes to quarterbacks in this league. And this MVP buzz that's going to start to come here this week and in the next couple of weeks when the Patriots play some bad teams, it is for real. It is for real. Plus 2,500 on DraftKings if you guys want to look at that. But this is not a fluke. Oh, Drake has had a couple of good weeks here. This is all of it coming together quicker than we thought it would. So, yeah, there's some big questions with the defense yesterday and what Spencer Rattler was able to do against him, and the fact that they weren't even getting third downs. They were getting in the red zone every time against the Patriots and weren't even getting third downs. But the most convincing 6-point victory I've seen in a while for the Patriots, and the best quarterback play we have seen in quite a while for the Patriots, or at least it feels like quite a while for the New England Patriots. Is Drake Maye a legit MVP candidate? We're going to go through some of the other numbers later in the show, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. Then be sure to like and subscribe, especially if you're following along live on YouTube, because we're going to have even more breakdown of this Patriots game. We're going to have Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated coming on, our little Monday breakdown, see what went right, what went wrong with this Patriots team, and how we look ahead for the next couple of weeks, and maybe what this team's ceiling can be. That might be a good question to ask Mike. We're going to do it next on The Cam Show.
It's hard to find supplements that work. No, thank you. Plant-based supplements made from the Earth's most powerful plants for your immune health, gut health, workouts, and more. Find out more at auraorganic.com.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
Welcome back to the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stuart, coming at you every weekday live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time. And then we're available afterwards and wherever you get your podcasts as well. We're, of course, talking Patriots all day, 3-game winning streak coming off a convincing 6-point victory in New Orleans. And here to break it all down, as he's doing on these Mondays, Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated. Mike, we've been talking about, it's been a while since we've been talking about 3 straight wins for this Patriots team. First one since 2022, and the vibes are high. Like, the quarterback looks great. Mike Vrabel knows the rules better than the refs do. Should the NFL be afraid of this Patriots team?
Absolutely. Right. The way they're playing right now with the confidence that the Patriots have and the talent that they have on both sides of the ball, which I don't think they get necessarily enough credit for, this team is for real. And look, you're only as good as the teams you play, and you can only play the teams on your schedule. I know a lot of Patriot haters right now are starting to get their dander up again because they're saying, oh, here come the Patriots, and they're going to look good because they got an easy schedule. Well, the Patriots did not make the schedule. The schedule was made by the powers that be over at the NFL, so they can only play to their competition, and their schedule over the course of the next few weeks is a favorable one, if I'm being very blunt and honest, starting with this week's game against the Tennessee Titans, which you know Mike Vrabel's going to be up for. But I don't want to get into that too much just yet. We want to definitely enjoy this win over the Saints because it wasn't the Patriots' prettiest effort, but yet they found ways to win. And coming on to the show, I heard you talking a lot about Drake Maye and taking that next leap, that next step to being a team leader. Boy, has this kid done this in record time, and really, really impressive with the lack of production he's gotten in the running game, with the offensive line still finding itself, especially when it tries to block for the run. Drake Maye has been able to mitigate a lot of those problems because of his stellar play. You can't say enough about what the New England Patriots are doing right now. I think once they get a couple of pieces back on defense, they find their identity again. Yeah, I think the sky's the limit for this Pats ball club right now.
I do want to talk about Drake Maye and this legit MVP candidacy, but first I do want to touch on the schedule because we knew coming into the season that it was going to be probably the easiest schedule in the NFL. What's interesting is they played really one nailed-on playoff team so far, and they beat them on the road. So there's something to that. But looking at this schedule, and you're right, it's going to be even easier over the next couple of weeks. And we knew it was going to be easy going into the season, but with all these question marks, right? A lot of new guys on defense, another new head coach, wondering if Josh McDaniels and Drake Maye would gel and how much time that was going to take, whether Stephon Diggs was going to be ready before the start of the season. if I had told you 4-2, we would have taken that twice on Sunday and the rest of the days of the week too. And you look at that and you said, you look after the Pittsburgh game specifically, and you're like, but with this team, they just haven't quite got there yet. Like, there's going to be other games like this. But the way we've seen them play the last 3 weeks, is it crazy in your eyes to see them as a 10 or 11 win team?
The way they're playing right now, it's definitely not crazy. Now, I will caution Patriots fans to be very mindful of the fact that teams can get hot and then they can cool off a little bit. Things can change. Injuries are always the great equalizer. So always keep an eye on the injury reports each and every week and be very mindful of who pops up on that and who's going to be out for certain games. That can always equalize. So for everyone that's ready to print the Super Bowl tickets right now, I would say take your foot off the accelerator just a little bit. Enjoy this win for what it is, and then move forward. I'm not saying don't be excited about the prospects of this team, because if all things continue to break the Patriots' way, and we've seen teams that have had the breaks continuously break their way on occasion, yeah, this could be a pretty special run that the Patriots could be on, but it could just as easily unravel with any type of derailment within the next few weeks. So the main thing is the Patriots need to play to their competition, beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and rack up as many wins as possible. So if you do have hiccups, at least it's against the team that either people expect you to struggle against, or it's at a point in the season where you've already established your presence as a serious playoff contender, and that may allow you to be able to play through some of the difficulties a little bit better rather than getting down early and having to try to swim through quicksand. We're seeing some very talented teams right now that are doing just that. Patriots sitting at 4-2 right now. Yeah, I think speaks very well to the way that they've been coached, especially after the way they started the season.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about how it wasn't the prettiest performance yesterday, and now they're winning those games, or winning a game like that. I don't want to get too ahead of myself either. But the last 2 years watching that, if you had a performance like that, they would have lost by 2 touchdowns. And it feels like a game where, you know, not to put all of it on Drake Maye, but it felt like a game where it was like you won because you had the better quarterback.
Right.
Even if you had a league average quarterback in that game, the way your defense played, you might not win it. And we look at it a third of the way through the season, just about a little bit over that. Drake Maye is a legit MVP candidate, Mike. Why that?
Well, because he's playing to his strengths right now. And again, we talked a little bit about this last week, and Josh McDaniels kind of taking the shackles off of Drake a little bit and saying, hey, you know what? You're a gunslinger, kid. You know what? It's in you. Go get you. Do you out there on the field. And it really has, I think, worked for him by leaps and bounds. But you're also seeing a quarterback where the game is slowing down for him a little bit, which means that he's seeing things better. He's seeing the entire field, and he's using that vision of the entire field to make things happen in ways that we didn't see last year and that we certainly didn't see during his time at UNC. We know the kid is an explosive playmaker. We know he has a cannon for an arm, and these things can really lead to big plays at times. But it's the temperance, it's the knowledge of when to push it, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right, Cam? And I think right now you're seeing that, Drake Maye is really, I think, being the ultimate dealer right now and the ultimate gambler, because he is taking that fine line and he's walking it very well. And again, I want to credit his coaching, but I don't want to take anything away from Drake either. I mean, he really is doing a tremendous job. 11 of 13 for 185 passing yards, a perfect 158.3 passer rating in the first 2 quarters, a plus 17.6 in total expected points added. That's the 100th percentile. That's basically the equivalent of bringing home a 100 on a pop quiz. I mean, that goes right up on the refrigerator if you're mom and dad. That's a huge, huge game. I mean, that really is. And we're talking about a second-year quarterback that didn't play his first full season. He had to wait a few games before he came in and took the reins from Jacoby Brissett last year. Christian Barmore at one point during the game yesterday was up and whooping it up on the sideline saying, my boy is dealing out there. And he was. And if anybody wonders whether or not Drake could win the game with the deep ball, he satisfied that yesterday. All 3 of his touchdowns were deep passes. I think you can make the argument that maybe 2 of his best throws yesterday in completions were negated on I don't know, how shall we say, Cam, questionable PI interference.
It's very questionable. Nice. It's very nice. Yeah.
questionable is the term I think we'll use. This is a family show. I want to keep it a family show. I want, Cam's a good guy, and I want to make sure that I walk that fine line too. But I think it's interesting that Mike Vrabel called the officiating comical in that game. I think that really is a good way, a very diplomatic way of putting it. But no, all kidding aside, you want to know about Drake Maye, and you want to know about all of the growth that he's made from one year to the next. Take a look at the last 3 games, and every game you're seeing more and more growth. I, for one, can't wait to see what he's going to do against the Titans this weekend.
And it's interesting you say in there, I don't want to make it all seem like the coaching staff. And I like that because I think there's some people around New England, some people that have jobs talking about the New England Patriots that are trying to take away from what Josh McDaniels has done. They did it with Alex Van Pelt last year. And look, I had some problems with the play calling of Van Pelt and I think the overall strategy, but you were on this show saying, hey, Drake Maye came in as a project, like a big time project, and he was starting by week 6 and was impressing us right away. So you do have to give some credit to Van Pelt there. But looking at McDaniels, the guy in there right now, I think a lot of us had confidence when he came back that that's kind of the perfect guy for Drake Maye. It's fit like a glove, hasn't it?
Oh, it has, without any question. And again, I want to give some credit to Alex for the job that he did with Drake last year, because you needed that guy that was going to teach you the fundamentals. Almost like a year in a JV, where a coach comes in, he gives you everything you need, but he's not quite the varsity coach that's going to take you to that next level. And that, I think, is really, a good analogy to use for Alex Van Pelt last year. He gave Drake Maye all the tools, all the ingredients he needed to bake the perfect cake. And now you're seeing Master Chef Josh McDaniels at work here. Now you're seeing him take his protege and really put him on the biggest stage and make things happen week after week after week. It really is a beauty, and it really is a joy to see. If this team can figure out a way to get a complementary running game in with the way Drake Maye is playing right now, it's going to make this wide receiver crew look better than it is. It's going to elevate the tight ends. It's going to make this offense, dare I say, Cam, very tough to stop for any team out there in the NFL. They may have their pick of the litter when it comes to defenses that they're going to be able to penetrate, because of the way that Drake Maye is able to utilize his skills to raise his teammates and make them better. So again, there's things that have to happen. I want to see better production out of that offensive line. I want to see better production, certainly out of the running game. I want to see maybe a little bit more from some complementary receivers and not have them rely so heavily on one guy for the entire game. But once they can work these kinks out, yeah, they've got a groundwork here and a really good foundation to build something special.
And speaking of, you talk about raising the teammates there, elevating guys. I think that's a big reason why he will be in the conversation at this point in the season. It might keep him in the conversation the whole season, because I'll tell you, Mike, I'm learning a good life lesson with this team, and that is that comparison is the thief of joy thing, because I watched Tyquan Thornton leading the NFL in yards per reception out there in Kansas City, and I'm thinking, how do the Patriots not unlock this? This is a guy they traded up for. What the hell? And then here in New England, Kayshon Boutte, 2 touchdowns yesterday, gets the catch to seal the game with that play before the 2-minute warning. And I'm thinking, as a guy that's averaging 17 yards per catch, would he be doing this if Drake wasn't the quarterback? I think that's where you see a lot of the elevation. I think he's doing what great quarterbacks do, and that is making his teammates better. And again, I just think I'm just surprised it's coming this quickly, Mike. I was telling people, like, hey, let's maybe curb our expectations here of a 10-11 win team, because it's going to take a major jump from Drake Maye. Right. But from what you've seen week to week, is beyond the stats, but looking at the decision making, how important has that been to him making that jump second year?
Oh, it's been paramount. I mean, the decision-making, his ability to maybe curtail some of the instincts that he has to constantly keep the pedal on the metal, make sure to keep going and press the issue, always go for the big play. You've seen that. He's taking the check down this year. Again, I think the game is slowing down for Drake a little bit. So he's seeing the entire field. He's understanding the value of taking a sack when he needs to, maybe throwing the ball away when he needs to, or resetting the offense to make sure that they're matching what he's seeing out there defensively. These are all marks of a mature quarterback, and for him to come in his first full season so far, and really his kind of second season in the NFL, that really speaks a lot about the work that he puts in and the dedication that he has to his craft and how hard he works to be Drake Maye. And again, I think a lot of fans and sometimes maybe some members of the media as well forget all of the hours that quarterbacks have to put in studying film, not really necessarily even doing any work on the field, just all cerebral work in terms of how they're going to see certain defenses, when they see things align, what they need to do. It's an amazing, progression for a young quarterback to get to that level, and he's already leaps and bounds above his competition, which is why, like you said, he's very seriously in the discussion right now for MVP. And I think that's going to continue as long as he continues to play at this level or higher. So all the credit, definitely going to Drake for putting in the time and really focusing on the cerebral part of being an NFL quarterback. We knew he had the talent. He can definitely do it on the field. This guy can make dazzling plays. But when you're thinking a step ahead or you're smarter than the opposition, it makes you that much more lethal. We saw it for 20 years here in New England with the smartest quarterback I've ever covered, I've ever seen on a football field in Tom Brady. I'm not comparing Drake to Tom just yet, but I'm sitting there and I'm saying that, you know what, this is a great progression for New England Patriots fans that are used to seeing great quarterback play. They can enjoy Sundays again knowing Drake Maye is under center.
I just got a breaking news alert a minute ago, and that is that the Patriots do have 52 other guys on the roster, not named Drake Maye. So I guess I do have to talk about them a little bit.
Oh, come on. Drake can take on these guys all by himself.
I think there's some other positions he could play, honestly. I think, a couple more Ramondre fumbles, and I'm thinking about some Wildcat offense with just Drake Maye not even passing. But looking at this defense, because this is how we thought the team was going to be built this year, and it's kind of been interesting in that their two best games of the season have come against last year's MVP and a three-time MVP in Aaron Rodgers. They were excellent in both those games. The two bad ones were against Tua Tagovailoa and now Spencer Rattler, who was very limited quarterback, let's just say. But that's 2 weeks in a row Spencer's had himself a nice game. So let me ask you this. Is that a product of kind of the uncertainty at the defensive coordinator / play caller position? Obviously, with Terrell Williams' health problems, you've got new guys and new roles there. Or is this just going to be a kind of week-to-week defense?
Well, in terms of what you saw yesterday against Spencer Rattler, and I don't mean to put on my Vinny Gambini hat and defend the defense, but I'm going to do it because I am a public defender. I'm going to defend the defense. It's been argued by me that several injuries right now within the Patriots defense, and of course Milton Williams' illness yesterday too is something that I don't think a lot of people are bringing up. Milton was not at 100%. This is a defense that has been remade in the image of Mike Vrabel and in Terrell Williams. This is an uphill attack style defense. You put four guys up front and you put pressure on the quarterback. You put pressure on the O-line. You really force that offense to earn and claw and scratch for every type of yardage, every yard that they're going to get. They weren't able to play that game yesterday. They were missing some personnel and they didn't quite have that push that you've seen in weeks past, especially against the Buffalo Bills and again against the Pittsburgh Steelers, like you said a few weeks ago. So that's going to weaken you a little bit. We saw the Patriots revert back to, I wrote about this for Sports Illustrated yesterday, kind of go back to the future a little bit. It almost seemed like the bend don't break was coming back for the New England Patriots. New Orleans Saints offense had 5 scoring drives yesterday that resulted in points, but only one of those drives resulted in a touchdown. The rest of them all resulted in field goals, and it was because the Patriots defense tightened up in the red zone and made sure that they were stingier than their opponent and kept them to kicking field goals rather than piling up touchdowns. That could have been a much different game yesterday if they didn't put the brakes on in those areas when they needed to. Clearly missing Jalen Hawkins yesterday. I'm as much of a defender as Kyle Duggar as I think anyone on the Patriots beat or anyone in Patriots media, but he was beat pretty badly on Chris Olave on the first series of the game, a 53-yard completion, and that sets the tone right there, and it puts your defensive backfield on its heels. Christian Gonzalez, I thought, once again, was solid, but they had him moving around a little bit yesterday. I think people were wondering, well, Olave's having a monster game. Why don't you just move him? In a lot of ways, I think Olave, after that big explosion, ended up getting 45 yards receiving for the rest of the game. That's pretty good in terms of being able to control someone who A lot of Patriots fans, I think, would love to see wearing Patriot blue if he ends up on the trade market in another couple of weeks. These things are all going to get fixed, but I think the scheme is right. And I think once the Patriots figure out their personnel, they determine how they're going to, dole out some of the snaps within their defensive front, especially in the middle part of that defense in the linebackers room. And they make sure that they've got 4 core guys that can take the ball and give them big time playing time in the defensive backfield. I think the Pats defense will be fine. I like what they do scheme wise. It's just a matter about figuring out personnel and nailing down fundamentals at this point.
And not for nothing, 6 total points in the second half, 3 for each team. So it did get better. They did bear it down here. All right. I know I might have reached a little too far, Mike. Last question here. I might have reached a little bit too far in terms of, the hope of this Patriots team, because you're right. There's still a lot that can happen. Injuries or just lack of discipline, things can happen here. But you look at the next couple of weeks, they play 2 of the worst teams in the league, right? In Tennessee and Cleveland. Then they play a pretty good Bucs team. That'll be very interesting.
Right.
But we talk about how easy the schedule is. There's a big-time injury to Joe Burrow. There's a big-time injury to Lamar Jackson. Miami is not what you thought they might be. Some of the optimistic fans thought they might be. Indianapolis is one of the best teams in the AFC right now. How wide open is this conference? I mean, Mahomes and Allen, for sure, they're at the top, those 2 teams. But how wide open is the rest of this AFC?
Yeah, I think the Patriots have just as good a chance of being able to get in there and mix it up with any of the teams that you mentioned, including the Bills and the Chiefs. Obviously, the Patriots haven't faced the Chiefs. They won't this year unless they have a playoff battle. But they faced the Buffalo Bills at home. Did they awake the sleeping giant and catching them off guard, or is this a sign of things to come where the New England Patriots say, hey, you know what? That window that you had open to really keep us down, let's close now. Now you're going to have to beat us for every yard, every inch that you want on that football field. We're going to contest it, and we're going to make sure that that we're up to your level once again, and we can give you a game every time we get out there. I think that's going to be one of the most interesting games the Patriots have remaining on this docket, on this schedule, how they're going to be able to play the top teams. But yeah, if they take care of business against Tennessee, against Cleveland, I think that Buccaneers game is going to be a very good litmus test to find out exactly how good this New England Patriots team can be. Once again, I think the sky can be the limit because of the way they're coached and because of the quarterback they have and because of the way this team is all taking accountability for their growth. You mentioned Kayshon Boutte, and I want to give him a tip of the cap because you heard accountability from him in terms of why he slipped to the 6th round when he feels he was still a first-round talent. He's playing like it out there right now, but I think he realized that he had to grow as a person, as a player, in order to grow into who he is and what he's become. These guys are all taking each other, and they're really kind of having each other's backs. They're becoming family, and that's something that is... Chemistry is important. It's not necessarily essential for a team to be a championship caliber club. We've seen teams that haven't had great chemistry that have won before, but when you have it, it's so important. And I see this team building it. So if they can keep that, shore up their fundamentals a little bit, get a competent officiating crew in here next week, I really think that Patriots can really ascend to some of the top levels that you're seeing in the NFL right now. I think they can hang with anybody.
Man, I would kill for a competent officiating crew at this point. Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated. Mike, before we get you out of here, just let the people know what you got out today and where they can find it.
Oh, absolutely. You got my grades report and my snap count report coming up for Sports Illustrated, takeaways and all of the post-game stuff, including my thoughts on the officials, available right now on New England Patriots on SI. That's si.com/NFL/Patriots.
Oh, Mike Debate, one of the best in the business, breaking it down for us. Mike, we really appreciate the time and look forward to talking to you next week.
Cam, always my honor. I can't wait to do this again next week. Make it 4 in a row. Maybe we can do it.
Knock on some wood. Let's see. There he goes. Mike Debate of Sports Illustrated coming down, breaking it down on a Patriots Monday, man. And who better? I mean, I just keep him on the horn the whole time here because he can go all day. I could go all day asking the questions. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is this winning streak a bit fluky for the Patriots because of their schedule, or are they for real because they have an MVP candidate quarterback? Let me know in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because, of course, we come at you every weekday live on YouTube, noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts, as well as your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. Coming up next, we're going to keep talking about Drake Maye. We're going to dive into the numbers a little bit more as to why he is a real candidate, and that's not just us being homers. We will also talk a little bit about the Bruins, man. 3-0. Can they actually compete for a playoff spot? Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and then stick with us after this short break. It's coming up next on The Cam Show.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props, or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code CAMSHOW. That's code CAMSHOW to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
Welcome back here on the Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. It's called that because my name is Cam. Cam Stewart's here with you. Zach Burke behind the glass, keeping us on the air, as he does 5 days a week, y'all. 5 days a week, talking everything going on in the world of Boston sports is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. I do want to get into some more of the numbers about Drake Maye. I know that's why a lot of you have stuck around, but I do want to address, if you got questions, by the way, throw them in the comment section here. Nick Sal puts out a good, interesting question. Is it time to go get an edge rusher? First opening thoughts, you can never have enough pass rushers. And this Patriots pass rush has really not been great for especially how dominant I think the interior of their defensive line is. They're not getting a lot of pressure off the edge. But I do want to say we're going to go over this week. We're 3 weeks away from today to the NFL trade deadline. I guess it's tomorrow. isn't it? Is that right? Is the November 4th trade deadline. So we're going to start looking at some targets this week because this is a team you can finally add to. And how exciting is that? And the reason you can add to it is because of Drake Maye. I know a lot of people think it's just Patriots fans copium that they're finally looking a little bit better again, but this is for real. Drake Maye is a legitimate MVP candidate a third of the way through the season. He has officially entered the conversation, if nothing else, because we have our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook, and they have got him in the top 10 of your MVP candidates this year at plus 2,500. You want to go win yourself some money? How about putting it down on Drake Maye winning the MVP? Of course, use the code CAMSHOW, CAMSHOW, because this kid is doing something real special right in front of our eyes. It's been a couple of years in the wilderness, and I think a lot of fans around the league are pissed off that it was only 5 years in the wilderness for the Patriots. But looking at all Drake Maye's numbers, top 5 in the league in yards per attempt, completion percentage, he's number 2, barely behind Jared Goff. Top 5 yards per game, passer rating, top 5 in the league when you include his rushing touchdowns and add that to the total, that would make it 12-2, the touchdown to interception ratio. Hasn't turned the ball over in 3 weeks. And oh yeah, this is a team that's won 8 games the last 2 years. And now they're 4-2. So Drake Maye, the numbers are there a third of the way through the season. The numbers are there. But I think for a lot of us in New England, it is the eye test, which he is passing with flying colors, and it's elevating the rest of the team. The award is called the most valuable player. And he has undoubtedly been one of the most valuable players in the league with how he has raised this Patriots team. 23rd in the league in rushing yards this year, 27th in rushing yards per game. They still can't run the damn ball. And that shows you, A, they don't have much of a balanced offense, and B, what it also shows you is that offensive line is still not very good. They're a little bit better in pass blocking than they are in run blocking, but overall they're not very good. And yet here they are at 4-2. They've scored 25 plus points in 3 of the last 4 games. And before that, it took them 34 games to have 3 such outputs of 25 points or more. Look, you can look at the MVP race right now, and again, it's early, right? But you look at it now, and obviously Goff is in there. Baker Mayfield's in there. I guess Daniel Jones has got to be in there a little bit. Josh Allen's certainly in there. But no one is elevating their team the way Drake Maye is. Like, Goff's played in the best offense of the league the last 2 years. I mean, it's a new OC, but still, like, there's clearly a pretty good culture of offense there. Baker Mayfield, they're off to a heater. They're 5-1. He's having a great year. They won the division last year. They make the playoffs all the time. No one in the race is elevating their team the way Drake Maye is. And again, he's not turning the ball over. Remember that disastrous 5 turnover performance by the Patriots where he had a couple of picks and a fumble? Yeah, he hasn't turned the ball over since. His passer rating has been off the charts. It was under 100 in week 1 against the Raiders. It was only 80. It was not a great game for him. He's been over 100 every single week since. And to add to that, how about the esteemed company he's joining now? He joins Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and Dan Marino as the only quarterbacks age 23 or younger, because you got to remember, he's not even 23 yet, to have 200-plus passing yards and 100-plus passer rating in 5 consecutive games. We're talking about 2 Hall of Famers there, 2 of the top 6 or 8 quarterbacks ever, and Dak Prescott. But, we're talking about Mahomes and Marino there. And there's only been 2 quarterbacks who have averaged those numbers for an entire season. And they're Marino and Mahomes. Drake Maye, with this schedule, might not be that far off, man. I'm just saying, again, is it copium? Is it hopium? A little bit. But this kid is for real. And there's just not many teams around the league that can feel as confident in their quarterback situation as the New England Patriots can. And I used to say that all the time for 20 years. But the last 5, we have not been able to say that. And there were still a lot of Drake Maye detractors going into this season. There were a lot of Josh McDaniels detractors. There were a lot of Robert Kraft detractors. Doesn't mean a damn thing if the quarterback's good. And guess what, folks? The quarterback's good. Offensive line room is still bottom 10 in the league, if not bottom 5. Run game, bottom 5 in the league. Receiver room, Stephon Diggs makes it barely bottom 10. They're still not littered with talent around the wide receiver room. Tight ends, okay. Drake Maye just continues to elevate them. And the New England Patriots are 4-2. And they're going to win 5 straight games before you get to that Tampa matchup. This team, they're not losing to Tennessee or Cleveland. I'm sorry. New Orleans is better than both those teams, and they still got all the calls and couldn't beat the Patriots. So you want to talk about it when they're 4. I want to talk about it when they're 4-2. You might want to talk about it when they're 6-2, but it's happening. And Drake Maye going into that game last week against Buffalo was stat for stat with Josh Allen the whole year, and then beat him in his own backyard on a nationally televised game. Yeah, this kid's for real. I'll take that plus 2,500 for Drake Maye to be the MVP of this league. Not saying it's going to happen, but he's right there. And if you thought that Drake Maye was going to be in the MVP conversation 6 games into his second season, really his first full season, then you were a lot more confident than most of us around here. I would have taken that in a heartbeat. I'm stunned by how good it's been since week 1 and the jump that he's made. Drake Maye for MVP? Just maybe. Just maybe. And you saw it again on display in New Orleans. Just a ball barely touches the ground. 18 for 26, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Elevating Kayshon Boutte, who scores 2 touchdowns. Pop Douglas becomes a deep threat because that's what Drake Maye can do. His little slot receiver is down there 40 yards down the field. Drake gets out of the pocket, finds him twice. Only one of the touchdowns count, but they both should have. And you're just seeing everything on display with this kid. They can't run the ball. Who had the longest run of the game yesterday? Drake Maye did. They don't have a good offensive line. You need to buy time out of the pocket. Who's better on the run and going to his right side especially than Drake freaking Maye? I think he could elevate any team in the league. I really do. We're just lucky he's doing it for the New England Patriots. And that's why he's in the MVP discussion right now. But am I just crazy? Let me know in the comment section below. Then be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you every weekday live at high noon Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, help me keep my job, and we will see you tomorrow on another edition of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.